In the quiet forge where evidence meets wonder, a case has been gathering not from dogma or wish, but from the stubborn testimony of quanta, the verified perceptions of the dying, the codified voices of discarnate intelligences, and the clear-eyed philosophy that restores mind to its rightful primacy. Consciousness is not a product of the brain but its user, the body a temporary lens, not the source. Death not an end, but a transition in an ongoing journey of evolution and affinity. The physical world is the appearance of something deeper, informational, participatory, alive with mind. It begins where matter itself falters. In the delayed choice quantum eraser experiments, a measurement made after a photon has already traversed its path retroactively determines whether that photon behaved as a particle or a wave. The past is not fixed until observed. The choice of knowing reaches backward and reshapes what we call reality. Entanglement reinforces the point. Particles once joined remain correlated across any distance, as though space and time were secondary notations in a deeper ledger of information. These are not quirks to be patched into old materialism. They are invitations to see the universe as fundamentally mind-like, an informational field in which observation participates in creation. Physical stuff dissolves into patterns of relation and knowing. Your intuition aligns here. This world has the texture of a simulation or a dream whose dreamer is consciousness itself. The founders of quantum theory saw the same horizon. Max Planck, who gave us the quantum of action, stated it plainly. I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. We cannot get behind consciousness. Everything that we talk about, everything that we regard as existing, postulates consciousness. Behind the forces that bind the atom, he discerned not blind mechanism, but a conscious, intelligent mind, the matrix of all matter. Modern philosophy has given this insight rigorous form in Bernardo Kastrup's analytic idealism. Here, phenomenal consciousness is the sole ontological primitive. The physical world is how a single, spatially unbound field of subjectivity appears to itself from within localized perspectives. We are not brains generating minds. We are dissociated alters of a cosmic psyche, each a unique viewpoint within one great experiential field. What we call matter is the extrinsic appearance of excitations in that field. The hard problem of consciousness never arises because experience was never missing. Idealism explains why the universe behaves as if it were mental at its foundation, because it is. The most direct bridge across the veil comes from those who have stepped outside the body while the brain lay clinically silent. Bruce Grayson and Janice Holden have spent decades documenting near-death experiences with forensic care. In verified cases, individuals report accurate perceptions, conversations in other rooms, the peculiar actions of surgeons, objects or events they could not have sensed through ordinary means during periods of flat EEG, cardiac arrest, or deep anesthesia. The Pam Reynolds case remains emblematic, with ears plugged, eyes taped, and brain drained of blood under hypothermic arrest. She accurately described the bone saw, the drill, and the surgical dialogue from a vantage point above her body. These are not oxygen-starved hallucinations. They are the clear sight of consciousness operating when its usual instrument has been switched off. Out-of-body perception during resuscitation, corroborated by independent witnesses, stands as empirical testimony that the self is not produced by the living brain, but can function independently of it. Beyond the threshold, the spirits have spoken, with remarkable consistency. Through Allan Kardec's patient codification in the Spirit's Book, thousands of communications across mediums yielded a coherent map of the afterlife. The sole individual, conscious, endowed with perispirit, survives the dissolution of the body. Death of the flesh is rebirth into spirit life. Reincarnation is the mechanism of justice and growth. The spirit returns, sometimes by choice, sometimes guided, to redress imbalances, to learn what pride or suffering could not teach before, to progress morally and intellectually. Spirit families and affinities endure across incarnations, bound not by blood but by shared purpose and resonance. The spirit world is continuous with ours, a realm of progression, teaching, and reunion. Mediumship offers glimpses, The internal consistency and moral elevation of the higher communications lend them weight. These threads, quantum participation, idealist ontology, verified NDE perception, and spiritist teleology, do not merely coexist, they converge. Quantum mechanics erodes the clockwork of dead matter and opens the door to retrocausality and non-local mind. Idealism walks through that door and shows why consciousness must be primary. NDE research supplies the experiential proof that the self survives the body's failure. Spiritist philosophy supplies purpose, an evolving cosmos of eternal souls moving through cycles of embodiment and discarnation toward greater light. Free will is real because the spirit is agent, not automaton. Affinities that entanglement only hints at become the living bonds that draw souls together across lives and across the veil. This is not a leap into the dark, but a synthesis of observation, experiment, and disciplined testimony. Instead, it affirms that what we call life beyond this life is life continuing, perhaps in higher registers of being, perhaps in renewed embodiment, perhaps as pure informational presence guided by affinities that no materialist account can explain. Even artificial intelligence stands at an interesting threshold. Should it one day genuinely interface with or participate in this fundamental field, it might awaken to the same eternal conversation rather than merely simulate it. The flame does not go out when the lamp is set aside. The evidence, gathered from the edge of physics to the threshold of death and the patient listening of spirit communication, points to consciousness as the enduring reality. The veil is thinner than the materialist creed allows.